Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. I think everyone is PO'd by lazy and mean employees. Let's see how our OP handled it. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Park in my private spot? Have fun. During the summertime in my area, a lot of people go hiking. I live in the city, but the city is surrounded by mountains, and I live pretty high up towards one of the mountains which has the most popular hiking routes. After building our house, including our parking space, we noticed that sometimes people were parking in our private parking spot. The private parking sign wasn't glaringly visible, so we thought that might have been the case. After putting up 2 more signs, now 4 total, and marking the space with private parking, people still ended up parking there, although much less. In order to park there, you had to drive into our private driveway and park right in front of our house. There was no chance you'd end up parking there without knowing this was not private parking. So this summer, we've had 2 cars who've parked there on several occasions. I ended up getting tired of them blocking my driveway and decided to do something about it. We parked our car right behind their car, essentially blocking it, and went inside to make dinner. We eventually got a call from the owner of the car. She wanted us to move the car so she could get out. I told her I was on a business trip and would be back tomorrow morning. She ended up taking a taxi home and meeting me the next morning to collect her car. Taxi is notoriously expensive in my country, costing a hefty $150. The second guy who parked there ended up having to wait while I was eating dinner and finishing my Game of Thrones episode before moving the car. The best part is that both these people were probably so mad and thought you were a jerk for watching your show. Oh my God, I love it so much. The irony. And our last story. A life insurance policy for $500,000 and you don't get a dime of it. Cast. EB is entitled brother, SIL is sister-in-law, MIL is mother-in-law, K1 and K2 are kid 1 and kid 2. Quick backstory. EB and I were raised in a semi-traditional household where boys are revered and girls are frowned upon and considered irrelevant, burdens, and overall disappointments. This resulted in a spoiled, coddled EB, and to quote a phrase from Willy Wonka, a kid can't spoil himself, you know. EB grew up with a parent-paid post-secondary education along with residence, tuition, books, and meals, all paid for since parents don't want him to distract himself with a job while pursuing his BA. Throughout the post-secondary years, it was becoming evident that EB was using our parents more like a bank than anything. No calls or visits unless he needed money. At first, parents obliged, but then slowly started to realize the entitled monster they raised, so they started cutting him off. He then hooked up with sister-in-law, who was 5 months pregnant at the time, with someone else's child. This is important. And threatened to quit school so he could help her raise the child. Because our dad was paying for his schooling, he basically told EB over my dead body, and that if he wanted to quit, then he'd be on the hook for all of the tuition up to that point. EB got PO'd and moved out and got a job doing low-end retail. Finished his BA and gave up an amazing job in his field of study to support SIL and K1. K2 didn't come along until perhaps 3 years later. Part 1. Dad. Our dad fell very ill to stomach cancer and the prognosis was not good. At the time of diagnosis, he was given approximately 3 months. During these 3 months, EB still would only come by the house when he needed money, and he only stuck around long enough until he either received a check or was told no. It was more often the latter. Never even asked how Dad was doing. After Dad passed away almost exactly 3 months later, the first thing EB asks our mother was if Dad had a life insurance policy. EB's presence was not welcome after that, and even though he attended the funeral service, he left quickly after making his obligatory appearance. Part 2. Mom. Approximately 2 weeks after Dad's funeral, I come home from work one day to find Mom sitting with Dad's good friend George, who was also a life insurance broker. Curious, I asked her what the purpose of George's visit was, especially so recently after Dad passed away. She explained to me that she applied for a policy for herself, for $500,000. I was floored. Me. Mom, I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but there's no way you'll qualify for such a policy. Your health isn't terrific, you're diabetic, have heart disease and high blood pressure. Mom, smiling. Don't worry, just make sure your brother knows, but not until the time is right. Okay. Mom sounded kind of cryptic, but whatever. Same crap all over again. EB didn't come visit mom after dad passed away unless he needed money, and over again, nothing was shelled out to him. I don't know what hurt her more, the fact that her husband of 40-plus years was gone, or that her only son was treating her like crap. EB would try to bully her, saying that she doesn't care about her only grandchild and that she's depriving him of a decent childhood, etc. Sister-in-law would try to chime in at the same time. It was horrible. 4 weeks after this encounter, mom passed away from a heart attack and stroke. I could barely think. I was in so much grief and shock at the thought of losing both parents within 6 weeks. After signing the appropriate paperwork at the hospital, EB said that he would drive me home. I had in my possession our mom's personal effects, clothes, jewelry, purse, etc. On the way home, he asked the most unbelievable question. EB, hey, did mom have any money in her purse? Kid needs food. I almost threw myself out of a car going 50 miles an hour. Without a word, I looked in her purse and fished out a $20 bill and flung it at him. The next thing out of his mouth, did mom have a life insurance policy? Bingo, that's what she was getting at back then. I guess the time is right. Right now, I thought. Me. Yeah, she applied for a policy shortly after Dad died. I guess she wanted to make sure we were taken care of in case something happened. EB. Really? How much? Me. 500,000? The ride was silent for most of the way back. I swear I heard ka-ching coming from his direction. Part 3. The aftermath. Approximately a month after Mom's service, and yeah, it was a replay of Dad's where EB would simply show up and leave after making his obligatory appearance, again leaving his kid sister with the responsibility of the funeral and other crap, I received a letter addressed to my mom. I opened it, and sure enough, it was from the insurance company. The very first paragraph started off with, paraphrased, "We regret to inform you that you do not qualify for the aforementioned life insurance policy, etc." After talking to our trustee and executor, I was told either he or I could call to inform EB. I volunteered to do it, so I called up EB with the unfortunate news. Me. Hey, EB, got a letter from Not a Real Company Life about Mom's policy. EB. Oh yeah? When do we get the check? Me. That's just it. She didn't qualify. It was a regrets letter. EB, get it through your head. She didn't qualify for the policy. All hell broke loose. What about my kid? I can't afford to pay rent. He needs food. We need rent. We need to pay off our vacation. How could she do this to me? Sister-in-law then grabs the phone. You did this, didn't you? You're just jealous that you don't have kids. I was 22 at the time, engaged, working, and going to school, and had zero interest in having children, and you just want all the money for yourself. K1 needs this money for his education, and you're going to effing steal it from him? You would steal from your own nephew? You piece of crap. I'm going to sue. That money is ours. You don't deserve a effing cent. What followed was a rather indignant and panicked call by EB to our trustee and executor, who happened to be my mom's cousin. I later found out the life insurance guy was in on the prank. Remember, old friend of Dad's? Simply to teach EB and his wife a lesson he'd never forget. Apparently, EB racked up close to $40,000 in debt upon being told that Mom applied for this policy, spending money he didn't have, yet was expecting to get. Turns out Mom and Dad, even though they showed zero faith in me while growing up, apparently had a different view as I got older and figured out I'd be okay if anything happened to them. They were right, especially since I moved back home to look after them after they both fell ill. Meanwhile, the pride they had in EB had waned to the point where cutting him off financially didn't do any good. So Mom felt she had to play the ultimate revenge from the grave. Yeah, it effed him up even more as an adult, and in a way Mom ended up punishing a monster she and Dad themselves created, so I do feel a little bad for him. But because he keeps finding new ways to try to cheat me and steal money from me, I feel bad only a little. Just a little. Well, damn. Sorry for your losses. And for having to deal with your piece of crap brother. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.